as we get closer to Election Day, a lot of people are paying close attention to the polls. The numbers show the race is tight across the country, especially in the all-important swing states, most falling within the margin of error. Joining us now is Jim Lee, who heads the national polling firm Susquehanna Polling and Research out of the great state of Pennsylvania, which is a key battleground state. Jim, welcome back to Capitol Review.
Thank you, Mark. Nice to be with you today.
Well, you recently released a poll in Pennsylvania. How does the race look for the White House right now in the Keystone State?
Mark, it looks razor tight. As you said, all the battleground states show a competitive race for president. Our poll shows Trump and Harris tied literally at 46% each, with 6% still to make up their minds. So this poll shows it could go either way in the race for president. The key takeaway here is that Trump is doing well with inflation. People that say inflation and the economy is a top issue that will influence their vote, they're breaking for Trump by a 57-34 margin. That's keeping him in the race here in this battleground state.
As you know, Jim, the former president won Pennsylvania in 2016. President Biden won by a razor-thin margin in 2020. Does your polling suggest that it's going to be close again?
It does. And there's such a few amount of undecided voters right now, it's really hard to determine where they're going to go. But basically, 68% of all undecided voters in our poll are registered either Democrat or independent. That's important because the independent vote right now is splitting equally between Trump at 44% and Harris at 43%. So the independents, as they go, so goes Pennsylvania.
What can you predict, or what is your prediction for voter turnout this year in November?
In the 2020 election, we saw a high watermark for turnout nationwide. Approximately 66% of registered voters cast their ballots in the 2020 election. All the evidence suggests we are going to shatter that record this year. The money that's being spent right now to wage campaigns is up tremendously from 2020. The voter enthusiasm right now is at peak levels for both the Harris voters and the Trump voters. So it looks like we could be seeing a watershed year for voter turnout this November. The key thing we'll be watching is applications for absentee ballots and early voting. They should give us a real good sense of what turnout will look like on November 5th.
And Jim, as we move forward, are you going to continue to conduct polling? And if so, what are you going to be looking for? Are you just going to be going after those undecideds? What's your strategy moving forward?
Our strategy moving forward is to poll Michigan, Nevada, and Pennsylvania one more time. These are three critical battleground states where the race for president is statistically tied in all three. Harris has a small lead in Nevada. Harris has a small lead in Michigan, but it's well within the poll's margin of error. And the race for president in Pennsylvania is statistically tied. I think Harris is up by 0.6%. So our strategy moving forward will be to poll likely voters to find out where those undecided voters are breaking and who they're breaking for.
And Jim, how soon, last question, sir, how soon would you release that final polling? A week before Election Day, or you're not sure yet?
Well, each poll will be released separately. Starting in mid-October, we'll release one poll a week. First, we'll be releasing Nevada. The third week of October, we'll be releasing Pennsylvania. And the last week of October, we'll release the Michigan survey results.
All right, Jim Lee, thank you very much for joining us.
You're very welcome.